Hey, everybody. Welcome to the SkyLounge podcast, episode number 254. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Follow me at the SkyLounge on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Podcasts, and also check out the SkyLounge on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Without any further ado, let's get shit started with episode number 254, Tempest of the Fire Temple, Tepidly telling tales. How are you? You know how I am? Actually doing hot. Quite literally. Because we are inside of the garage in our house. And we haven't done this episode style, on the podcast since episode number 254. And this time around I figured, hey, let's add the, green element to this game and see if the XP collection is different. Those of you who don't fucking play video games, it's a fucking odd reference. And even those of you who actually do play video games, it's a fucking odd analogy. But it's... the thing with ego is that it's not all bad. Ego, I would say, is a fuel. And certain fuels you can only use for so long. And you should only use for certain actions. Because if you use a fuel like ego too much, you'll burn down. And that's the fucking thing, man. You'll burn yourself out. You'll burn yourself down because you're playing with fire. With ego, there's a part in the brain that tells you, fuck this. Fuck everybody. It's me. It's all me. And if you listen to that voice all the time, it's not a good thing. It's not the best thing. But I'm also not saying like, don't completely suppress that shit down, because you do need ego. Lord knows, with all the crazy fucking chaos and shit going down right now, you need to be able to push yourself. You need to be able to demand more out of yourself because of your either overinflated way of viewing your abilities, your capabilities, and your assets, mindset, whatever. And it's because the world is just getting darker and darker and darker and darker. The last time I came on here, in the garage, recording this podcast on 234, it was a letter to my fellow men out there. Generation of men within my age group in this country, and I feel is suffering. I'm realizing more and more I should be addressing the human race, every single one, because we're all the same motherfuckers no matter what. Whether you're from the United States, whether you're from South Korea, whether you're from Japan, China, England, Germany, Nepal. I don't know how many fucking countries you want to name off right now. Peru, Bolivia. Shit, I don't fucking know. Spain. I don't care where the fuck you're from. We're all the same fucking human beings, man. And there is a collective problem we're all facing. And this problem is something called globalists. New World Order shit. Conspiracy theory? No. I actually want to share with you, when I went ahead and researched just earlier this morning, And research meaning, a couple of articles here and there, video, video submissions from YouTube and other fucking sources and shit, and just knowing what happened and being there, seeing that news event. Does anybody recall the 300 dead children on the South Korean ferry in 2000? I believe it was like 16. Korea had that female president back in 2016. Did you know this bitch was part of a death cult? Yeah. No. It's not conspiracy. Look that shit up. It's true. That's facts. This bitch was the daughter of, I believe, the third president of South Korea, who was basically a military dictator. And he was friends with a death cult leader. And his daughter, the cult leader's daughter, became friends with this president, president's daughter, who later turns out, in the 2014 or 13 election in South Korea, she went ahead and won the title of president of South Korea. So she becomes the first female president in South Korean history. But little do people know that, that she is part of this death cult, and more than likely, she basically allowed and sanctioned for the death cult sacrifice of these 300 children. That's a bit of a stretch. When you start reading about this woman and how she had to apologize for the discovered database and information and just fucking a supply of just insane knowledge and admission that this death cult is actually real. And it's like, oh my God. You can only call this shit conspiracy for so long. I mean, when all the evidence is right in front of you and then people just flat out admit it and you still say conspiracy theory, you're fucking nuts. And so South Korea had to ban this bitch. But the thing is, that death cult never left South Korea. They never fucking left. These motherfuckers, I feel like, based on what I've researched, have their tentacles all over the South Korean government. I believe that tentacle is part of the same body that is trying to just control this world, right? New World Order. That's what this whole shit is. And when you see what's happening in South Korea with the death cult, right? And how this death cult was actually also responsible for the tremendous spike a couple months ago in South Korea because of a meetup in a church. And yes, those are actual fucking facts. That's actually on the fucking news. You could check that shit out. Those are fucking real damn data and events. But when you realize that shit is still around and that the death cult has traces in the most elite of society, you see a general pattern happening in every parts of the world. Like South Korea's got this shit in stride where some of the most powerful people in South Korea, and there's this whole thing with the 8 goddesses, the 8 most powerful women in South Korea, and how they control the political sphere, the social issues around South Korea, and try to manipulate and mind control the citizens. And it's terrifying. It's horrifying. Because these are the same kind of fucking piece of shit elitists who pay for ultra radical feminist movements like Magalia, and WOMAD. As somebody who's of South Korean descent, I gotta tell you, when I read about shit about Magalia and WOMAD, it makes me fucking mad. It makes me fucking pissed. These feminists, who I would rather call them extremists and almost eugenic loving, psychopaths. These motherfucking feminists actively go out there telling people of South Korea, and I'm not fucking lying to you, they actively go out there in the streets of South Korea fucking posting the public walls with used sanitary napkins. Look that shit up. Magalia, WOMAD, South Korea. That shit's real, man. And then these bitches, and let's be fair, these aren't just bitches. These are scumbags. These fucking scumbags openly and boastfully talk about how they raped boys, killed men, have abortions for fun. It's like, holy shit. Politicians in Korea who are deep in the pockets of their swamp monsters, of their deep state, man, they are cucked. Every fucking corporation you're reading about, they're cucked. Video games are being attacked. Porn is just a complete non-existent entity in South Korea. Hence, they bank on K-pop because that's just basically glorified softcore porn using child slave labor when you read contract rules. And yeah, don't ever fucking doubt that South Korean music executives are fucking your favorite celebrities. Sorry, that's real. You begin to understand that, man, New World Order shit, it's applicable worldwide. This shit is happening all over, and it is fucking terrifying. To me, what's happening in Korea with Magalia, WOMAD, and the narrative-driven sheeps, it's a problem of the state of the human beings right now in the world. And this is why I tell people, listen, using ego to constantly fuel yourself, constantly tell you you're the shit, like these radical feminists do. We're the shit, we're the best women, we're the superior fucking gender, all this shit. That'll burn you out. It will kill you. It will just lead to your ruin. What you have to do is use that shit sparingly and efficiently. Problem is, we don't know how to do that. And that's just not a United States, American thing. That is worldwide. That is human beings all over. And lately, more and more, I feel like I'm trying to get to that point of bringing along everyone safe. Because the world needs saving. The world definitely needs saving. Every aspect of it. There's so many fucking things that this planet has yet done with this race of human beings. This group of creatures that have so much potential. We as human beings have so much potential. Yet we suppress ourselves, we limit ourselves, and we comfort ourselves with innate bullshit things. Right? I'm guilty of it all the time. I am. But there are certainly ways to constantly improve yourself, constantly evolve in a sense. And sometimes it's relinquishing and, in a sense, disciplining, your vices. Right? And we discussed this a couple of times on the podcast here, boys and girls. I love porn. I watch that shit a lot. Porn is something that I will admit I overwatch at times. And on average, it's kind of an unhealthy amount. And right now, it's one of those things that I will work on to not watch as much, or just try not watching. Because when you realize what porn actually does to your brain, which is dumb it the fuck down and make you fucking useless. Yeah, I know it's not all the time, but generally speaking, if you do it within such a repetitive form, because of readily available materials and constantly new shit popping out, you realize that it is a fucking tool to dumb you down and keep you down from your full potential. Then you push that shit aside. One of the reasons why I do these fucking garage gym episodes is because I feel like in extreme conditions, you can really fully unleash yourself within a sense of self-preservation, right? Or a sense of self moderation, I suppose. And the whole thing I'm trying to say, while we keep ourselves hydrated, holy shit, is that I go in this hot ass fucking area to make sure I'm just constantly sweating, and every nerve and tips I can feel and have some semblance of control, and working on perfecting, minutia details of control. And it's these little things that we can work on each day, whatever it is in your life, man. I mean, for me, I'm physiologically not at my 100%. I'm not. And so I'm working on that and trying to release that potential. For some people, I mean, for some of you buff-ass motherfuckers, you've already got that shit figured out. But, within that sense, it's like trying to figure out nuances and details where you start, enjoying shit. And you know what? That is a fucking principle and kind of philosophy that I started applying to just anything I want to do now. And when you take, for example, breathing. So breathing during a workout, you would think it's such a subtle thing. You don't really give a shit about it, but breathing techniques absolutely help. And certain ways of breathing to accentuate, oxygen like through the body and shit. I don't know. It's a weird way to explain it, but I don't know. It works, man. It's kind of cool, but it's those kinds of things, learning subtleties, learning, nuanced details through trial and error through yourself. It's brilliant fun. And when you do that with anything and everything, with this kind of childlike wonderment, it's mind-blowing. You're saying that because you're high. Dude, stop it. I fucking hate that shit when people immediately throw that into the argument. You're saying that because you're high. You're saying that because you're blank. Like, well, I'm making a coherent enough argument and laying out all the fucking points for you. And I'm just, at the end, also putting the, final remarks of, hey, this is just my opinion. And then you go and say, oh, because you're high. Okay, fuck you then. Like, what the fuck? Why are you fucking here? People who do that shit irritate the fuck out of me. So you're not fucking here to listen. You're not here to do shit. You're just here to fucking flaunt your goddamn ego and flex. And again, motherfuckers, if you flaunt that ego all the fucking time, you burn that fuel out, you will burn yourself. And man, Antifa, BLM, radical feminists, you fucking psychopaths are egomaniacal fucking pricks. Every single one of you. Entitled motherfuckers that always think that the world revolves around you. But guess what, motherfucker? It doesn't. It doesn't. There's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of actually decent human beings too. Yes, there are scumbags. Yes, we should fucking root out the scumbags of this earth. But goddamn, you fucking egomaniacs are also the goddamn problem. A cocksucker like LeBron James is somebody who in mainstream media, I just can't fucking stand. And again, kids, I'm a Lakers fan through and through. But anytime I see LeBron James do anything, I just lose it. Because that man is the very essence of walking ego. You're athletically and physically gifted as all hell. Yet, you choose to be the typical fucking millennial. Skim. Read headlines only. And not do research. And think you're the most fucking important thing in the goddamn world. LeBron James, you are the reason why a lot of the kids these days in America are absolute pieces of shit. And especially within the realm of basketball, you have created a generation of entitled, uneducated, unfucking grown children. Man boys. Soy boys. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. The woke league of Chinese basketball is a sports ball league fueled by dirty communist Chinese money and unsatiated, untethered, disgusting, toxic ego. I'm not having any of that shit. Just not. That's just not it, my chief. That's not it. And I tell you, folks, I got an ego. I don't have that shit. But I use it when I need to. And I'm practicing. I'm not perfect at it. I never claim to be perfect at anything. Why the fuck would I? Why the fuck would I? You're just practicing to perfection every day on anything. You're never going to be perfect. You're just practicing to perfection. Just getting there and getting there and getting there. Because again, within that Lombardi code, right? Within the pursuit of perfection, you will achieve excellence. And excellence is what you want when you are trying to evolve as a human being. We're not trying to be here, kids. We're not trying to be here, watch reality TV shows, keep up with the fucking Kardashians, watch all the fucking stupid ass talk TikTok, cock videos. We're not here to do that shit. We're trying to elevate ourselves. Read, educate, physically, evolve yourself, mentally sharpen your fucking brain and spiritually open yourself up. We're trying to get there. And I'll tell you what, kids, for me, I tell you, if this is a 1,000-step journey, hypothetically, I'm only on step 5. And I'm just trying to go to each and every step every day. It's just crawling over. But one day I'll start walking from crawling. And that's what evolution's about, man. Right? That's how the fucking fishes got out of the ocean. They were swimming and crawling, and then they walked on land. That's what I'm about to do. That's what we're going to continue to do. It's not going to be a one-time thing. It's going to be a constant thing, constantly evolving, constantly going through. And like I said, boys and girls, I'm not perfect. I don't have the best of days at times. Hell, I skipped yesterday's episode, motherfucker. Let's be real about that shit. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Winning Game 7 for the Vegas Golden Knights against the Vancouver Canucks after they blew a 3-1 series lead was something that got me really hyped. And I was kind of in my zone, just smoking and having a good time. So maybe I forgot to just care and do an episode. But that's the whole thing, man. It's not a perfect thing. It's not. But we just got to work at it every day. Anything and everything. And it's left up to us to have that childlike wonder, that sense of newness and discovery that we just appreciate when we're kids. And don't let anybody fucking try to ruin that experience on anything for you, man. I hate when people try to do this shit. For me, I'll tell you one thing. If my friends do well, I love it. I fucking love it. Why are you jealous? If your friends are doing well, why are you jealous? If you're jealous, do something about your fucking life. God damn, man. When the dumbass has to tell you common sense shit, you know the world is a little topsy-turvy. Yeah. We're living in fucking wild times, though. We really are. Just the way people spout their manifestos on the Twitter sphere, it's It's insane, the fucking machination from these people's minds. Like, what fucking comes out. I mean, especially these fucking radicalized motherfuckers, man. I mean, the Trump derangement syndrome is real. You know, not looking at America for what it is. That shit's real. It's unbelievable. But kids, within this clown world, you know, if you're willing, you can evolve beyond this. You can reach your fucking full potential if you keep, you know, putting your effort into it. It's quite possible. I mean, a dipshit dum-dum like me is making a couple steps to get there. If I can do it, what's stopping you? Right? I'm not special, man. I'm not the most physically gifted. I'm not the most mentally sharp. I'm not the most fucking socially appropriate figure. But man, if I can fucking put the effort to get better every day, why the fuck can't you? Isn't that some shit? Yeah, it is. And I'm telling you, man, doing this episode in the garage kind of helps me see what I need to do more. Not just with the chins and shit, because the sweat is actually accentuating the double chin here, but just game planning, you know, and that part of it where most people will never know what I'm actually thinking. You know, that's the fun. You know, what I can potentially do, you know, if we put the effort into it, that's the fun. You know, we are gonna keep going through. Yeah, some shit, man. It's like Super Saiyan evolution. You just keep going because Akira Toriyama needs more money. So Dragon Ball's never gonna end, and hopefully none of this shit either. Ultimately, kids, use your tools to sharpen yourself. That's it. And then on the next episode of the Sky Lounge, we're going to do some sports ball shit. And yeah, we'll specify more on how the episodes are going to pop out on that episode. So be on the lookout for that. All right, motherfuckers. I appreciate you dropping by this episode. Follow me at the Sky Lounge on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. And also checking out the Sky Lounge on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And until next time, fuck off.